found this on Ganneroom. Gannermere. What is it? Well, it's
Simple Holics. In my gravity boots, I'm stuck walking the hole with a pounding in my skull. Ain't nobody knows which way the solar wind blows. Better than a man being blown.
Welcome to Simpsons. This is your host, David Duncan. With me is...
Aaron O'Brien.
Brian. And we have special guest, the grumpy geek, Pete Herr, with us from the Geekiverse.
Hola, amigos.
Pete has decided to sign on to another tour of duty on our rickety old ship.
It was the bloodwine that brought me in.
Bloodwine.
Yeah, free bloodwine tonight.
Yes, I made bloodwine. I made a video. I'm trying to put it on YouTube. It may or may not be out on YouTube before this podcast comes out. Who knows?
When you're podcasting, there's nothing better than Klingon bloodwine, I hear.
He came from the bloodwine. He stayed for the ponfar.
So, yes, I made a video that's hopefully entertaining, and I'll be putting that up soon. You can find us at synthaholics.com. On Twitter, we're at Synthaholic Duo. I personally am at David_J_Duncan. How about you, fellas?
I'm at Blackbird 2004. Pete.
At Pete Herr.
All right. And Pete, you
apparently have the boring name of the group.
Yeah, I was like early on. I took on the Blackbird thing. It was a thing.
You were trying to hide. That's what it was.
It wasn't a hide thing. It was just like it's when people use the screen names for everything.
Yeah.
And I always used the Blackbird thing, and then that just went away. Like people stopped using screen names. Like
I just resurrected a screen name from my AOL days.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because I needed
mine was Wack 83.
I needed another Reddit account. I needed one for one thing and one for another thing.
Yeah, for the porn talk.
Not
that you get
porn.
Into. But
why you always got to go there? Blackbird 007.
007.
004.
004.
You couldn't even get up to 7.
I know. They wouldn't let me. They would not let me.
The guy that hit the hammer in the fair. Ding, ding. Nope. Sorry.
That
was 007 for you.
All I licensed to kill turkeys. That's pretty much it.
Licensed to kill turkeys by beheading.
Yeah, I just behead turkeys on Thanksgiving.
Just get them drunk on blood wine.
Yeah. Sweet
That's what the origin of my name. It was back when the AIM and all that stuff. People had
Is Twitter that old?
I've been around Twitter for a long time. I was first generation Twitter.
Yeah, I was.
Which is why I actually got my first name. Like my name, my Twitter name is my name. Because
I had to use underscore.
It was no underscores in mine, nothing. Because I was first generation Twitter.
Was it 2005-ish?
I want to say 7, but
okay,
I might be wrong.
I can't remember. But I was like the first. I remember my brother. I got him on Twitter, and he goes, "What the hell do you do with Twitter?" I was like,
I still don't know what you do with
it. I was like, hey, it's just a thing. And I'm always looking for new, platforms, but. Some obviously stay and some do not.
So, Pete, you're with Geekiverse. Do you have anything new you're working on that'll be coming out soon?
Next week?
Yeah, I don't. I've kind of stepped back into writing topical stuff. So I never know what I'm going to write until the day that I look to see what's topical. I do have a new Grumpy Geek episode coming soon that's going to deal a little bit with the chaos that is the DC expanded universe right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you too much about it, but it's there's chaos over there, and one particular thing caught in my craw a couple weeks ago that I've just been working on.
Need to grump about.
Oh, totally need to grump about this one.
And I saw you put that article out for new sci-fi books.
Yeah, I try to do that every other month or so if I can get to it. Whatever new, Amazon's got a nice feature where you can find the new sci-fi of the month, and then I look through the 20 books and I try to narrow it down to 4 or 5 that I think are real good ones.
Now, do you like download your books to a Kindle or anything like that?
I sometimes. But I much prefer having a book in my hand.
Me too. I can't.
Because I'm old school.
I'm not. Yeah. It's just one of those things for me. And I know that's stupid, but it's a waste of paper. And my wife yells at me. I have so many damn books.
Me too.
I mean, so many
I got piles
books.
of them.
And she won't. She just hates that I have so many books.
And I like that. There's a certain set of books that I keep, but
Yeah.
then the vast majority of them I'll let them pile up, and then I'll put them in a box, and then I'll donate them to
Burn them in the dumpster.
Habitat for Humanity's got a store, and
I actually should
something.
do that. I have a lot of books. I should just recycle. I definitely should.
My accountant loves when I give stuff away.
Oh, that's good.
Can you? Oh yeah, you can write it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
You didn't know that Synthaholics was a tax show, did you?
Yes.
well, it's that season. It's the season
Tax season.
Maybe we should have talked about a more violent episode than the one where. Well, actually,
I don't know. This
it
one's
had its
pretty-
moments.
This one's got its.
It definitely had its moments.
Pretty raw.
You can also check out the Geekiverse at they also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/the Geekiverse. Is that right?
Yes.
And Aaron and I have both appeared on not the same time, but on different videos from the Geekiverse. So even more reason for you to check them out. You can see our ugly mugs.
We're there. For better or worse.
Well, it's great fun having you guys over there. It's the partnerships we're starting to collaborate are great fun. I love coming over and recording this stuff with you guys.
We're getting a lot of just it's good to get our relationships and see whatever everyone else is into, and because everyone's got their own things.
Definitely. And as much as we love Star Trek, it's awesome to be able to branch out and talk about other things we're passionate about, since you guys have a forum for that.
Well, and
And Dave was getting tired of talking to me, so
No.
Geez, I wonder why. You don't drink enough blood wine. That's the problem.
fuck, Aaron's coming over for the podcast. Dicks and pussy jokes,
Well, we don't talk Star Trek very often over there.
or dick jokes.
We don't talk about those ever. The cast, the majority of the cast at the Geekiverse is much younger than me, and their first experience with Star Trek was the J.J. Abrams, Chris Pine reboots.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're all like, "Oh, we love Star Trek." I'm like, "Oh, shut up, you late to the party."
Well, we had Josiah, and we talked about
Galileo 7.
Galileo 7 from the original series, and he really dug it. It was really cool that he got a chance to watch it and get to see all the actors in their prime.
It's been great fun introducing some of them to it.
Two things, yeah.
So
We're going to pull Trevor in hopefully next month for Space Seed.
Oh, that's gonna be great with Khan.
Khan's the man.
Yeah, it's cool thing is the older person with a younger group that you can kind of turn people onto things. Like I had a friend who when I was younger got me into all sorts of music I had no idea about, and then as you grow older you find out all this music's connected to the music that you're into now, but you
Right.
just didn't know it because
Right.
you just came onto the scene. So I'd be like, wow, this band sounds a lot like that, and he's like, well, that's the reason because
That was their inspiration.
that's what they took their music from, and yeah, I mean, just like you're unraveling all this secret knowledge. It's great,
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Well, they
to have that.
keep me young and they keep me grumpy working with a bunch of kids.
That's what kids will do.
I'm telling you.
But they do one good thing. They make you realize what's important in life, because I think as you get older, you get kind of distracted all the little crappy stuff, and you start losing the focus of what was the main drive, or what made you happy when you were younger. I think that's what kids do for you.
Yes, and I think the best thing about working with younger people is their optimism. Is I am much more jaded. I didn't get the nickname the Grumpy Geek because
Age will do that to you.
yeah, oh yeah, I've been around the block a couple times, so it's allows me to be a little bit more. I don't know if it allows me to, but it definitely, having the experiences that I have, I'm a little bit more jaded about things.
Well, life will definitely grind you down.
And speaking of life grinding you down,
Oh,
We are speaking of Voyager. Year of Hell.
And we're going to probably be calling this episode Our Year of Hell because yesterday, as of the recording of this episode, Aaron and I were both laid off from our previous employment. We were
at a major. Is this the Jeopardy episode?
Yeah.
We were laid off by a major data company.
Yes, we were
a year and a day ago, as of the recording of this episode. So,
if you don't know, me and Dave met at this tech company, which we will not disclose or divulge, but we were laid off because there were layoffs involved, and unfortunately, both lost their jobs. But hey, you got this show, you lucky bastards.
No, you still got this show because we recorded it at work because it was just convenient.
That probably had nothing to do with
it
why
was
you got
convenient to do so. No, I had the blessing of my manager's manager, so it was cool.
And I was peeing in the what's it? The water
bathroom?
fountains.
No,
the water fountains.
But you know, we
thanks for sharing that. Can I get you some more blood wine?
I mean, it was just it was really a really hard time, and it was just, you know, I'm still feeling the effects of what that's done in my life.
Well, you know, it's funny because I think we all have shitty years one way or the other, and that. I was thinking about it. It's like, I don't know if this has been the worst year, but it has not been an easy year. And I know I think you've had a worse year than I've had, Dave.
I had a really bad year.
Yeah, you had a bad year.
I was in the hospital for a couple of days. Unemployment wants their money back. Oh, it's all sorts of horribleness.
But you're back and you're employed.
I'm employed.
Things are good. The podcast is going great. We've got new friends. We got
new
Pete
friends
here.
Like the literally the best part of the year was meeting Robbie at the Buffalo Comic Con in September, and then having
Don't make him feel bad.
And then he introduced me to Josiah, which introduced me to Pete,
which we just met Robbie that day too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I met Robbie first, and Robbie introduced me to you guys. So like through him, I met you guys, and that was like the best part of my year.
It was totally. We started some dominoes falling, and
that's great, you know, and that's what it all comes down to, is that sometimes just things all kind of come together in some weird. I don't know what the real thing is.
And I'm getting better. I didn't butcher the Grumpy Geek logo name or the Geekiverse name on introducing him this time.
Yeah,
so
totally.
like I did back right. from Grumpy Unification episode.
Right.
I butchered it, so I'm getting better.
Right. So Year of Hell. This is a Voyager episode, a two-parter. The first episode came out in November 5th, 1997. And this is episode 4, and it goes 8 to 9. So
it was weird because, for some reason, I thought Year of Hell was a pre-7 of 9 episode, but it was because there was an episode from one of the first 3 seasons that actually had like a premise of the Year of Hell, but they just did it all in one episode, where a bunch of crap started happening, and they basically just expanded that idea to a 2-parter,
right,
for this episode,
right? Yeah, because
they said they liked the idea of Voyager being banged up, and it's frankly. Because they were in the Delta Quadrant, Voyager should have looked worse and worse every season. I don't know why they liked that idea, but then they just threw it away. I'm like, Voyager should look worse and worse every year.
Oh yeah. It should be like
it shouldn't look pristine at the end of the 7th. It
should be like a jalopy going through space.
Well, have 2 different nacelles.
I think every
lopsided.
Every time Janeway got mad and punished Tom Paris, she sent him out to scrub the halls.
So get going. Nice. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. So this episode starts off that they have the day 1. This is what they do. They put the days on each.
Yeah.
And it shows that a civilization is being destroyed
by Red Forman.
He's
putting their boots so far up their ass that
they never existed.
That was my first thought. Like in the first 30 seconds, I'm like, oh, it's that 70s show guy.
You should just after he destroyed them and go dumbasses.
And the other guy. Like his
Obrist, yeah.
Right, his little lackey guy. I'm like, is that Lorenzo Lamas? Like, it totally looked like young Lorenzo Lamas.
It does.
And then I went and looked up Lorenzo Lamas, just real quick to see if it was in fact him.
That's not him,
and it's totally not him.
Yeah.
And poor Lorenzo has not had a good life either. He's at the point now, like he was like the good looking stud guy.
Sure, yeah.
Right? He was, all this stuff. And now he's playing things like, Councilman Delgado and Judge Rogers. Like, you know, your career is
when you're doing
over.
like the senior roles,
Right?
Like, you know, like you're the older roles. I always say a recording artist's career's over when they do a Christmas album, because usually, unless you're country,
And Lorenzo is also, he's got like one of those Christmas Hallmark movies out there too. So
that's the Mark
poor
of Death,
bastard
Kiss
is,
of Death.
yeah, he's done.
Right.
There's some little girl wandering around behind him now going, no, you have to go to Buffalo and go to this Comic-Con and sign autographs this year. He's like, no,
Just
my,
like
my
Steve-
career's coming back.
just
I'm
like
not doing it
Steve,
yet.
just like Steve Gutenberg.
Yeah,
God,
that's
poor
when
guy.
you know you're in trouble. You
I mean, that guy was in Police Academy movies, Cocoon. Man, it was in all those
I think
movies.
we're still getting $30 for an autograph.
Yeah, he's doing better.
Not
than
from me, but
Yeah, he's doing better than
From
me, probably.
whoever decides to pay him that.
right.
That works.
But there was a line.
Yeah.
I mean, we were there. There was a line.
So, anyways, the Red Forman destroyed the planet, and next scene we go to Astrometrics, the Astrolab, where 7 of 9 and Harry Kim put together their maps together with the Borg and Federation.
They're like, oh, this is like such a way more accurate way of depicting space. I'm like, did you forget about that episode called Threshold where Tom Paris was literally everywhere?
And you took all the everything
And
was
you downloaded all the maps? Like, really? Did you forget about that? It's another thing that...
This is still better.
still better.
They said it was better, so it must be better. Dave.
How was
Don't
it better?
be-
They had the exact maps.
Don't be such a... you're darkening doorsteps now. This was a big thing.
That's what Dave does.
No, but
He's
they
a
had
doctor
the
of
exact
doorsteps?
maps.
He wears a long dark cape and a top hat and just hangs out in alleys all day long.
It pays the bills.
Bills.
So 7 of
My
9,
new job, if you were one.
he is employed. We didn't say doing what. So 7 of 9 figures out a way with this new mapping system to trim off 5 years from their decades-long journey. So and then
Take a ride at Albuquerque. Who knew? Taking a ride at Albuquerque would have just made the big
Albuquerque
difference.
would have made it.
Yeah.
The Albuquerque system.
Yeah, the Albuquerque. Their three-way system,
The interstates are so efficient; they never get jammed up like Atlanta.
bar none. And then the doctor goes into a long, drawn-out, prepared speech, but it's
Which was hilarious, by the way.
pretty funny.
It was
Doctor's
funny.
amazing.
Like I mean, I know you're not a big fan of Voyager
The doctor,
as a whole.
the Doctor and 7 of 9 are my favorite characters. So anything that comes out of the Doctor's mouth, I pretty much love.
Yeah.
So 7 of 9 and the doctor save Voyager for Dave.
Yes.
Do you like Voyager?
I like parts of it when it gets a little bit like Threshold and stuff like that. There's some episodes I think are just so silly that are like, what? But then there are a couple, every once in a while there's an episode like these episodes, and especially the earlier episodes I think are very well put together.
Yeah, I love the premise.
Yeah.
I did. I love the premise. They're out there on their own, and there's a lot of characters. I mean, I'm a big fan of B'Elanna Torres, and I'm a big fan of Neelix. Neelix cracks me up every time, even in this episode.
I don't like Neelix either.
Even in this episode, he cracked me up.
Drives me nuts.
Well, the premise of Voyager
You
was
were darkening doorsteps too.
That's my job too.
you're the grumpy geek. You're
Oh, so
supposed to
you're
be
still
darkening doorsteps.
Well, that's true.
I actually don't get paid.
I'm a big Voyager fan. Maybe it's because I watched it with my kid when he was.
I know I like Voyager for a lot of reasons.
Voyager's a great premise. I like the premise. They just didn't follow through on the premise. Like they didn't keep the fighting between the Maquis and the Federation. And like you were saying earlier, the ship never just broke down and got like just worse and worse looking every season.
Well,
the premise was great. They
You
just
get
didn't
hung
follow
up
through.
on the details. Like you get hung up on canon, you get hung up on a lot of stuff like that. That doesn't bother me as much. My thing is I want to see a story that's going to make me go, "Oh, wow, think about that. Think about this." Like, like even this makes you think about things a little bit, which I always expect from
Star Trek
to do. But that being said, I think there's a lot of silliness. Like there's some bad written episodes.
The producers pitched Voyager as like the action Star Trek series, and so I think they missed out on some of the thinky episodes, or as much thinky episodes as TNG and DS9 had.
But that being said, Cate Blanchett sometimes comes out of nowhere from that cardboard acting she does, and then will just give me a line or two that will be like, wow,
Kate Blanchett?
Kate Blanchett.
I mean,
Kate Mulgrew.
Kate Mulgrew. Blanchett.
When is
By
she?
the way, Kate Blanchett. She would have been a great addition to the cast.
Wow.
She would have been.
I had a total.
I don't know.
I
She would have been really young, though.
I
She'd
had
be
a
super
total
young.
Crush.
I don't think she'd be old enough for
on
this.
Mulgrew in this.
Yeah.
Total crush on her.
On this episode,
This episode, she was
She is
gorgeous.
hot.
Totally gorgeous.
the whole scene where she's gonna ram the ship and stuff like that, I was like, damn, I like to ram into her.
When she goes tank top, she's not bad looking.
No, I mean, just
tank top mode.
like you say, when she loses the bun, it's so much better.
Janeway, her bun unfurled.
Yeah, so much better when she gets to that point. But no, but she will come out with these like just a couple lines or how she'll deliver them, and I'll be like, wow.
Occasionally, they'll write for her really good, but it's only on occasion.
But see, I think her writing often sucks. But when how she delivers them makes me go like, wow, that's great.
Yeah, she's a fantastic actress. I've no issue with the actors in the show except for maybe Robert Beltran.
I know you hate him. She hates Chakotay. He's going to be the only guest we get in here.
Yeah, right.
And Dave will just like crush his balls. We're going to just
Remind me not to make that call for you.
he's going to tie him to a chair and just like take a hammer to his nuts.
No, remember Casino Royale? We'll make him naked. We'll tie his legs to the chair, and we'll swing the knotted rope up.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, do the old Daniel Craig thing. That was
It's hard to get guests back if you do that. I don't want to be the guy to point it out to you, but really hard to get.
You're the one taped to the chair.
Yeah, just really hard to get people.
Don't worry,
to be on
came
your
back.
show.
Don't worry, Pete.
When
We
you're
got it.
nut-sacking.
We got the chair in that's cut open on the bottom for you as well.
Thank you.
That's at the end
Where's
of the show.
the blood wine?
You're gonna need a lot.
the blood wine.
Where's the blood wine? Give me more blood wine.
Anyways, way off topic. This is a long episode. So the doctor's speech gets interrupted, and then we have the Krenin vessel, a small little crappy ship, comes in and starts shooting at them. And Janeway makes a joke that the size of their torpedoes is not going to do anything unless they have something bigger
In their tubes.
in their tubes.
She made a sex joke.
Sex joke. Penis joke on them. Well,
She's like, mine's bigger than yours.
oh yeah, and right then that's where we get the what's it called,
The time wave.
the time wave. That's probably the best way
The
to
temporal disturbance.
temporal disturbance from the beginning of the show comes crashing through, and all of a sudden,
People are dead.
yeah, they're
Voyager's messed up.
Voyager's all messed up,
The Krenim ship's way bigger than it was a second ago.
right? And they're
She stops making sex jokes.
the sex jokes end immediately, and she makes the joke of like, this is turning into the week of hell. And they're basically just getting beat up from because their torpedoes are getting destroyed by because it's going right through the shields, the Krenin ships.
Yeah, because they have like temporal shields and temporal torpedoes. Like they didn't ever explain how they really
they phase in and out.
Phasing thing is what it was.
They phase in and
Yeah.
out of time. Okay, what does that mean?
Who cares? It's super cool.
It is pretty
I'd
super
like to
cool.
phase in and out of time like 20 minutes before the end of class.
That would be pretty nice.
I want that power.
Yeah. Well, they decide obviously they got to get away because they're getting pummeled, and then we go back to the Anorex's ship where they've decided that they have their erasure of the planet and their civilization has brought the Krenin to like almost 99%.
Like a 90% restore of what he wants their timeline to be.
Unfortunately, the planet, what's it, Kaina Prime, has not been restored.
So he's trying to restore this one
and
planet.
this is what Anorex or Red Foreman.
Red Foreman.
Same character. We'll call him Red Foreman from now on.
Formax.
Yeah.
Red Formax. That's a good one.
But that's what he's obsessed with. You know, he's completely.
He's trying to get his wife back.
Yeah, you know the thing that I'm totally into these sort of time travel multiverse stuff right now. I'm going through a phase.
It's very cool stuff.
I'm totally into it now. So, I jumped on the NBC Timeless bandwagon, which is their time travel show right now, and it's the same storyline. Like the one guy that's traveling in time is trying to get his wife died, and he's trying to get her back.
Gotcha.
So it's the same kind of it's a tired old time travel storyline where you're going back in time to bring back somebody you love.
It's an interesting premise, period, just to do any kind of time traveling, and then like what happens every time.
The ripples that you sense through the whole thing. Yeah.
From doing the littlest.
And these 2 episodes are all about the ripples that happen throughout space, and it's really cool how things change and things go back and forth a little bit.
And it's cool that they sort of use the visual or the metaphor of the temporal waves.
Sure.
When every time they destroy something, that temporal wave comes through, and you watch, as it hits the ships change or disappear, or get bigger, or get smaller, and people disappear. And
yeah, so, it's definitely a fun premise.
It's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
So we go now to day 32, and the Voyager's being chased by the Krenin warships, and Tuvok's still trying to modify their shields for their chronoton torpedoes, but it's not working because Tuvok always does wonderful work. And
the very best work. We ain't found shit.
We ain't found shit.
I don't think he ever said that.
He did.
We ain't found shit?
In Spaceballs, he said it.
Spaceballs. He's the one with the
the Afro comb.
Yes.
And then we have this great scene where they've taken a hit and they have the impending destruction of Deck 5, and the Doctor has to evacuate everyone off of Deck 5, and then there's the 2 stragglers.
He shuts the door on them, and they just blow out into space.
Yeah.
I love how the ship blew up.
No, this whole sequence of all the stuff that's going on with Voyager and just getting trashed is probably one of the best parts of this whole 2 episodes.
Watching that ship just take all the punishment that it gets. Yeah, it's so great.
It's pretty cool. I can't deny it. It's pretty cool to see a ship like that getting smashed.
They also end up finding a torpedo. A 709 finds a torpedo stuck in a Jeffries tube, and Tuvok comes to assist her. She's like, "Arrive quickly." Yes. I love the way she put that.
Yeah, and within that time, she does enough scans that she's trying to get the, I guess, some kind of variant seconds from the torpedo that they can use.
So they can use it to fix their shields.
Right. But just before they do that, Tuvok tells her to get out, and she doesn't listen to him, and that's a couple seconds. The warhead does go off, and Tuvok, unfortunately, is blinded by that.
He's blinded by it. He was supposed to lose a leg also, but they were like, yeah, we don't have the time or the budget to make him legless too. So
It was great fun watching him blind shave himself.
Which has got to be the dumbest thing you ever did.
With like a miniature bat left.
Right, that's the thing that was funny about it, is he wasn't using like the old Gillette straight razor, he's using a Klingon
or
short
Pete,
sword.
how about just electric razor?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean...
Or how come there's a thing on the wall that you just put your face in and it just shaves you for you?
Yeah.
It's the future.
I made a note of that. I mean, it absolutely cracked me up that he's got this specialty Vulcan.
It could be a Vulcan thing, but it looks a lot like a miniature bat laugh.
Basically just a little short sword. Short sword.
Like, remember back in the 70s and 80s, they used to have the car charger that you'd put in and you could shave inside the car?
Oh, totally.
Yes, because you want your beard all over your car.
Yeah, you want all your hair follicles over the car.
Shave your legs too, you know?
Well, the funny thing is that I just recently could grow a beard at,
recently?
At 48. So,
what?
Yeah, well, my nickname in college was Shaggy because when I tried to grow a beard, it only grew on the bottom of my chin. So.
I thought it was your love of Scooby snacks.
Well, there's that too. I'll do anything for a Scooby snack. Bloodwine.
It's like you don't do Klondike bars. You just Scooby's.
No. If we could get him to go into haunted, demon-infested houses, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'll go. Yeah. Give him a Scooby snack.
Anything for a movie rat.
He drove around in a mystery van.
I like how 7 of 9 is like a Tuvok seeing eye dog.
Yeah. Can't they get an ensign to do that?
Can't they get Geordi's visor thing and just implant it? And that would have been great. Like just to give him a visor. Like it would have been great. I mean,
yeah.
Why do you need like a?
By that point in time, the replicators were down. They
well,
couldn't even get
in talking about replicator,
come on, the Doctor could have pulled out some of 7 of 9's nanoprobes and they could have fabricated.
And then he's got two big boobs for eyes.
Exactly.
Okay, but Chakotay says...
you see the best with those.
It's been... Anyways,
I've been a long time.
Chakotay decides that he's going to give Janeway a birthday gift, gives her a silver pocket watch, but she asks him to recycle it because they need everything for this.
But I totally made this before stuff started going bad.
Yeah. I mean...
She brought her bitch right there. She did.
Yeah, and it reminds me of most gifts I get my wife, but she's like, just recycle this.
I don't want this.
I've been married 29 years this year, and she still yells at me all the time for the time I bought her the under-the-counter coffee maker for like Mother's Day or something.
I literally...
For Valentine's Day.
I just ask her, what do you want? Because I am
Does
not
that
good.
work? Because I've been married for 29 years.
I can't, just let's cut the bullshit. We're both adults. I will get you anything just to make you happy. Just, please, just tell me, because I'm tired of buying crap that you don't like.
Yeah, what she wants. You know what present she wants?
What she
She wants you not to hang out in Dave's apartment for 4 hours.
That might be it.
Drinking bloodwine. And
That might be it, too.
And recording
Like,
Star Trek.
I don't know. She might be kind of happy for me to go.
Are the kids in bed?
saying
Because if they
you're
aren't, she's
leaving
not
the
happy.
show?
No, I know. I think she's happy for me to be out of the house.
Well, I spoke with her a couple times when I was delivering the headset to your house once. She said she's happy that you're having fun doing stuff. So
She's lying.
okay.
Does she listen to the show?
No.
Okay, you're good.
I've never heard tell me one thing about the show once in my
That's the only
entire
reason I
life.
can bring up the under-counter coffee maker, because my wife will never listen
She'll
to the
never
show
listen
either.
to it, yeah.
Mrs. Grumpy, not going to see it.
Well, it's like this funny thing is, like, I always think about some of the stuff we say. Like, I wonder if it'll be held against me. It's like, no one's going to listen to all this. I mean, unless you're like a huge fan, like, it's some just like jerk off the street is just not going to go through all the hundreds of hours.
Hundreds of hours.
Well, right up until you run for president.
Well, then it'll be entertaining for the NSA and
oh
anybody
yeah,
else.
they'll love it.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be running for president.
No?
I think I'm too old now to make my political career come
Work.
true. Yeah. I'm not connected enough. Well, so the
You can always tweet to Donald Trump and ask him to vouch for you.
well, it does get to a point. You do think like maybe anything's possible.
That's what Twitter's for.
Yeah.
You asked earlier, I don't know what you do on Twitter. You watch the Donald Trump show.
You tweet Donald Trump.
All right.
See if you get blocked by him.
Oh, that's great.
Well, okay, so with that new with the temporal torpedo, with the scans they get to modify their shields, and with that the shields are modified, and next time they're attacked, the shields do work. They withhold from their temporal torpedoes. At the same time, Red Forman Anrax is taking out another planet with a civilization, trying to get back the colony that he was from, or the planet he was from, with his wife. And when he destroys that, then another time wave comes through.
And that time wave is like the bad retarded stepsister time wave, because like it's like a 20% restoration. Like he screwed the pooch with this.
He didn't screw the pooch. It was the temporal.
Voyager. It was temporal
It was
shields.
Voyager that screwed the pooch on it.
Right. So the wave hits, and Voyager is unaffected because they have the temporal shielding. So they notice all the differences. That the Krenin warship
Way more differences happen.
Yeah, the Krenin warship is way weaker, smaller than it was before.
It's like a smart car of warships.
Yes.
It goes from a big old muscle car Cadillac.
it's to a Geo
smart-
Metro.
Yeah, exactly. It's,
The golf cart with that just the frame around it.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I still look at those things funny when they drive on the road. I'm like, how is that a car?
So Voyager's still beat up, but at least now they can kind of get away from those warships. Actually, those warships were destroyed, weren't they? No, there was one left. And from the time wave.
Yeah, because I think they hailed him afterwards.
Yeah.
But Voyager, the Red Formax, decides to come after Voyager because, like, oh, that little ship, that's what messed everything up. So he goes after them.
Right.
Captures Chakotay and
Tom Paris. Right. And then they go to, after they're transported, they start getting fired on by the ship, but they do realize that their Voyager is faster than their all-powerful temporal destroying
They get all the time in the world. They don't have to move fast.
Yeah, it's like, can't they just like go back in time, or I don't know.
Well,
They try to erase Voyager history with their time beam, but they warp out of it, and then Janeway's like, well, if I ask you all to stay, you're going to die. So she sends them all off in escape pods, except for the senior staff, which somehow Neelix is part of the senior staff.
Yeah.
Even though he's just like
somehow he's still alive.
A, still alive, and B, somehow part of the senior staff, even though he's just like the space Jawa they picked up a couple seasons ago.
He's like the space clown that just won't die.
the Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, he is the Jar Jar Binks.
No, he's a space Jawa.
He is a space Jawa.
He's just a junk dealer.
I like the guy.
I know you do.
I do.
There's something wrong with you.
No, there's definitely something wrong with it, as evidenced by the fact that I'm sitting here with you guys.
Yeah, they'll do it.
That helps. So does the bloodwine.
Welcome to our club. So that ends episode 1, and then we go into
the thing that's got me scratching my head about the end of episode 1 were all those like the escape pods are all in the hull of the ship, which somehow all the damage has not happened to the escape pod. I'm surprised the escape pods even work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Since like so much of the hull is just broken, I'm like, how come?
Well, maybe most of the crew's dead too. So
that's true.
Yeah. Then we go to Year of Hell Part 2, and there we get a messed up Voyager in a nebula, and we have Janeway and Harry Kim with gas masks, and the whole deck's flooded with gas, and they're trying to...
I like how they're like, oh, it's the nebula, it's coming in. It's something wrong with the ventilation systems. Okay, you're in space.
It should be hermetically sealed.
Why are you ventilating anything from outside the ship into the ship? Like at all, you're in space. You don't ventilate vacuum into your ship to make it work better.
Maybe there
something's wrong with the ventilation.
Maybe they were bringing some of the gas to try to use some of the gas to.
Well, they use the Boozard collectors to harvest gas from the nacelles, but that's not usually on the rest of the hull. Where they just let stuff in.
Maybe it got in there. I don't know. What the hell do I know?
But why would the ventilation systems be in anywhere where they could touch space?
I don't know.
That just seems like a bad design.
Anyways, so
just saying.
They repair that, the gas goes away, but then she's coughing up a lung. The doctor says that she needs a rest of 48 hours, and she says, no,
I'm too busy. I sit all my crew away.
Just give me drugs.
Could have done this stuff for me.
Just give me drugs. And
that's the answer to everything now, isn't it? Just give me drugs.
I would say it's probably most of the answers to things. And then...
just give everyone a little bit allotted, and everyone will be so much happier.
And so that's where we leave him there. Then we go to Chakotay, and Chakotay's got like a beard or a goatee going on. His hair looks a little messed up. I kind of like this look better for Chakotay. I kind of wish he stayed with that instead of the clean-shaven look.
It works. He's the mirror universe Chakotay now.
Yeah, right.
I kind of like. I think he had a more badass look to him. It's like when Cisco shaved his head.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a huge difference.
So much better. Yeah. Well, anyways, so he's on Anorak's ship, and they're bringing him.
They've been captured for months.
Yeah, it's like 2 months, and they are brought to a big table. And Tom Paris is there with Chakotay, and Tom Paris is getting all beefy with Red Forman Anoraks. And
try to measure their beefs.
And but Chakotay seems to be open to what Anorax is saying to him. Like
let's fix the timeline. Let's do it.
It's interesting because at first I thought
it works so well too. Just ask Barry Allen.
Yeah, Barry Allen. Yeah, that's where you go. Flashpoint. But when so anyways, it was interesting to me at this very point because Tom Paris seems to be like, no way, these guys are scumbags. They're wiping out civilizations. We can't do anything. But Chakotay kind of was like, no, wait a second. Let's talk about this.
We can get Voyager closer to home if we fix.
Well, I don't think.
Stuff.
See, this is the thing. I don't think Chakotay's playing it like that. I think he's like, let me try to be cool with them, and maybe I can get some good inroads with Anorax.
Yeah,
and he'll like
that's
me.
kind of what I felt like was that.
At first, you think he's like a doof, like oh, he just like
he just fought for it. But then I started to feel like he was actually playing a game.
Yeah, he's
just
playing
a longer game.
Yeah,
I think he was trying to use it to get Voyager closer because Janeway does stop and look at everything like she's like a lost puppy. She's like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? And they could be going home. If they just took a straight shot for 75,000 light years. That's like an 80-year trip. So like, that's if all you're doing is moving forward. That's an 80-year trip. And she's like, oh, it's an asteroid. Oh, it's a comet.
Oh, you're saying how she keeps stopping to investigate and always gets in trouble.
Yeah, it's like, oh look, there's this. Oh look, there's that. I'm like,
It's kind of fun talking about Voyager with a guy who hates Voyager.
Well, that is probably the one thing. Is like two things. Like Voyager was always like that, and then Enterprise was always like, oh, aliens, let's be friendly. The aliens do not want to be your friends.
But it's just, I mean, Voyager, the whole premise is they're trying to get home, except for Janeway takes all the side tracks she possibly.
Oh, look at this comet!
Oh, and that's what Chakotay tries to kill. He tries to undo a comet that Voyager took like a week or two to study. That's a week or two travel time, guys.
Yeah,
come on, let's get home. But
no, I agree.
And then he wipes out 2,000 civilizations because fragments of that.
But let's be honest, they knew that their 75-year journey was only going to be 7 years anyway, and then there was going to be whatever sent them there was going to bring them back home again.
The caretaker died. The caretaker did not send them back home.
No, Janeway had to go rescue him.
Janeway had to go the slow way and then come back.
I just meant
and a mess of a last episode.
There was some sort of miracle thing that flung them out there. Another miracle thing was going to bring them back.
The Borg conduit brought him back.
Absolutely. Well, so Chakotay's working an angle, Anorex, to get him to, kind of, to befriend him and try to get into like what's going on with them and try to figure out what's Anorex's like motivation is. And here's the thing: is Anorex becomes more interesting because you kind of like realize that Anorex is sort of like the Dr. Freeze of Star Trek, because his Dr. Freeze was always trying to like save his wife
no matter what the cost. That's how this guy's like. He's like trying to rationalize it. Well, if I erase them from history, I didn't really kill them. They never existed.
Yeah,
and it's like like fighting with himself about the semantics of.
And he's
genocide.
definitely you could see. I mean, he's resigned to it, but he is tortured by it. Like he's not happy with everything he's done. It's just he's doing it because he's still a monster.
And Red Forman's just a fantastic actor, so this was a perfect role for him.
It is very interesting to see him like in this. This is
more melancholy and serious.
Yeah. Absolutely. I
he was quite good.
Yeah, I think his character.
He was quite good.
I think his character's.
It's hard to take anybody who was in that '70s show and say, "Wow, they're a really good actor," and then you see him do something else, and they're like, "Ooh, okay, he's a pretty good actor."
I always enjoy villains that actually have a background that make you go like, "Oh," like when you see Magneto in the first Avengers or X-Men, and like his parents are getting taken away to the Auschwitz. Yeah, and that's when his mutant powers like kick in and he starts crushing the gates and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, I get it.
Well, I mean, villains with a sympathetic plight is way more compelling than
you just standing in an alleyway
villains.
Scaring children
with my top hat, in my cape, yeah,
twirling your mustache.
way more fulfilling.
I can't pay the rent.
You must pay the rent.
I need to.
Anyways, enough of Dave terrorizing the children in the neighborhood.
I didn't mean to.
Anyway, so Chakotay, like you said, is trying to do doing calculations and how they found the comet. But when he does this little test, it finds out that it wipes out like all these civilization when he removes the comet, because the comet
seeded life
on different planets. And
I think that's why I'm totally into this sort of time travel multiverse thing right now.
Right.
It's what I'm reading. It's what I'm watching and stuff, because it's so fascinating. The idea of one little thing happening changes the whole timeline.
Right.
Butterfly effect, totally. Yeah, it's a fun thought experiment. Totally, yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Well, it's like I said, Homer Simpson's father gave him that advice on his wedding night. Yeah. If you ever go back in time, don't touch anything, because the smallest thing could alter the future.
That's where you went with this. We're having this philosophical thing, and you go Homer Simpson.
Homer Simpson.
To two people who have not seen The Simpsons.
It's monstrous. That's monstrous. You have not seen
That's fantastic.
Write a letter to my dad.
I might. Don't count that. Anyway, so Chakotay's kind of finding the like the nuances of the temporal, the issues that can come apart with
And
these.
Tom Paris is playing games with the Red Forman's first in command.
Yeah, and
Lorenzo Lamas.
yeah. Tom Paris has got Oberus, and he's kind of like befriending him and trying to get the idea of the crew. And he's basically saying this crew's ready for mutiny because they've been at this for like 200 years, and they're sick of it. They can't.
You're probably going to get like tweet after tweet after tweet from people saying that wasn't Lorenzo Lamas. By the way,
Yeah, I'm sure they'll.
it's going to be Lorenzo himself might.
He might
It's about time people tweet. It's about time people tweet at us.
tweet
I
us.
tried to get in Star Trek and they wouldn't let me. I was too good looking back then.
I was too good looking. They would not let me.
Harry Kim punched me in the face. That's why I couldn't be on the show. Because
No.
Harry Kim was like their sexiest man alive, which is why they kept him past season 3.
And that's why I'm
Have you
just.
seen him lately though?
Yeah.
He's still okay.
Yeah, like-
he's got older, but he's still all right.
With the really long hair now.
Yeah.
Has he got long hair?
Well,
Yes.
that's his IMDb profile picture is him with like super long hair. And,
Okay. I don't know what he's been in.
I think a lot of nothing. Actually,
A whole lot of nothing.
Hold on, he,
Yeah,
he,
no, I
he,
think
he
a whole
runs
lot
that convention circuit.
Yeah, with Steve Gutenberg.
Maybe he'll come to
I
Buffalo.
thought I wrote a note. He hasn't done a lot of things that you'd recognize.
Anyways, all of a sudden, another thing happens, a meteor shower. Oh, this is the other thing. They're hidden in the nebula. They're totally safe. And then Janeway says, we're leaving the nebula.
Yeah, that was one moment in time where I'm like, what?
Yeah, I was like,
No, terrible.
That doesn't
terrible
make
writing.
any sense.
And any,
Dave, you can hate on this. You can hate on this thing. This one.
You have his
thing.
permission.
This is my permission to hate on this one thing.
Maybe
You
I
can-
shouldn't, since he gave me.
No,
Just
now
to
I
the
like
contrary.
it. Now I
no,
like
no, it was dumb. Like, I'm just like, well, you sent your crew away, and all you were doing is hiding in a nebula. If you didn't send your crew away, you could have gotten the ship fixed faster by hiding in the nebula.
Doesn't
And it
make
totally looked like that little meteor shower. Totally looked like something right out of Willy Wonka. It was like little chocolate pellets.
It was a malted milk balls.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I was thinking never stopping Godstoppers or whatever they are. Grab me a beer.
You got it.
Yeah, so they left the nebula, and then they go into a thank you. They go into a meteor showers, kicking Voyager's ass, and you got to be like, what are they even thinking? I mean, that Janeway would actually take them out of the nebula when they were safe.
When they're still like basically broken down, don't have warp drive, because Blonde like, yeah, it'll probably be a couple weeks. And Jane was like, come on, Scotty did it quicker. I'm like, yeah, Scotty had an engineering team. I'm just by myself.
Well, in here, because of the meteor shower, Janeway does pay for it because she has to go into to get the deflectors up, and the deflector room is on fire.
And so she's like,
Don't know why that got on fire. Wasn't working anyways, but now it's on fire, and Janeway has to run in, and she gets very badly
well, there's
burned.
something wrong with the environmental system. I mean, the ventilation system. That's why it's a fire.
She's like Will Ferrell.
That's why this had to happen.
She's like Will Ferrell in what's it called in Austin Powers when he goes down the pit and he's on fire. I'm very badly burned.
Yeah.
My body.
You're gonna find this hard to believe.
What?
I've never seen a Will Ferrell movie either. I don't think in its entirety. Except for, no, that's not true. Like when I used to chaperone the senior trip at school, we'd watch Elf over and over.
That's a good movie. That's a good movie.
So not a good movie.
For
kids, any Saturday
for
Night
Will
Live,
Ferrell?
yeah, any Saturday Night Live character or actor that comes off and tries to take 5-minute character sketches and turn them into 2-hour movies.
That wasn't a Saturday Night Live skit.
No, but it was a character that you would see on Saturday Night Live.
Sure, but
Right, and they were like, let's do this thing for
a Will Ferrell movie, it was pretty good, because Will Ferrell movies get much worse.
yeah.
Well, that part is
Much
true.
worse.
That part is
That was a good movie. I
liked Elf.
Well, the thing is, I'll watch it with my kids and they'll laugh. And then
Yeah.
I'll laugh because they're laughing. So that's
That's not really laughing at the movie.
partly
It's an assist.
an assist laugh. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not my favorite movie.
Oh no! But as far as for Will Ferrell movies goes,
yeah, exactly.
All right, so there's one good Will Ferrell.
There's some good things there. Will Ferrell does have some good movies. I'm not going to.
You guys need to have my brother-in-law, the Scottish Wonder, on here because
The Scottish Wonder.
yeah, He's
Does he like Scotty?
No, but he swears a lot, so we don't let him on any of our shows.
Well, there you go.
But he'd fit in perfectly on.
But you guys let us on your show.
We don't really swear on your shows. Not
Right.
Not that I know of.
We can show restraint when we have to.
Well,
So she gets burned on like 80% of her body,
Well,
but
she
she
gets
looks just fine when the doctor wakes her
yeah,
up.
the doctor gets her all worked.
Fixed her.
And she's like, well, I couldn't fix your face. It's got scars on it. She's got like a really bad piece of makeup hanging off her face. It was like,
Yeah.
it just looks like a flap. It doesn't look like scarring. I'm like, you should have just said I fixed you.
Still looks good.
Budget concerns.
I don't know. I'm just all about Janeway on this episode.
Kate Mulgrew.
Must be going through
Puberty.
testosterone thing. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's just Seven didn't have a whole lot of screen time in this episode, so.
She looks good too. She doesn't actually like her hair. Never even gets messed up.
It gets a little bit messed up. Not a whole lot, though.
Well, neither does Tuvok's.
Yeah, but he does shave every day, so his hygiene.
The
Man,
Vulcan. Good hygiene's logical, dude.
he's got to have good hygiene, and I bet you like Janeway's hygiene's awful. Like I bet she got pit stains.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And
she's
like,
probably smells.
Tuvok must be in hell. Like, it's supposed to be double a year of hell for Tuvok because, well, in Enterprise we learned that
The best thing that happened to him is he can't see.
Well, that's actually worse. Because whenever you lose your sight, your other
Now you
senses
can smell
go-
everybody?
Yeah,
Well,
because we found out
here.
Yeah,
In Enterprise, Vulcans have a super strong sense of smell, and they think humans are like
Harry, I can smell your balls from here. It's terrible.
They think humans are like garbage. There's even like they even mentioned that like T'Pol put some nasal numbing ointment underneath her nose so she doesn't have to smell.
Yeah, it's a funny thing is guys, when she's like the first Vulcan.
Mentholatum's made in Buffalo.
Oh, is it really?
But yeah, it's absolutely true.
Yeah, so she doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't have to smell.
She does.
The detectives going in for the decomposed body. She doesn't want to smell humans. 'Cause
That's basically
we
what
smell
she
like
does.
Decomposed ass.
That's-
So she just wants to.
Yeah, she. So Tuvok is and then he's living on this ship with humans. He's lost his eyesight, so his nose, which was already in overdrive, has now got NOS.
Well,
on
this
it.
is like what, close to 200 years in the future from her time, or maybe more. So it's like I'm sure they have some kind of technology that he doesn't smell.
maybe, but still, like everyone's
Mentholatum,
super gonna stink.
From Buffalo.
From Buffalo.
Right. Probably New Buffalo.
That's the New Buffalo town, and it's just a giant methylatum factory.
New Buffalo Townville.
Their biggest buyer is the
Hamlet of New Buffalo Townville.
They're the biggest one buyers from their methylatum is the Vulcan consortium, which is like buying methylatum for all those humans. And
Because we smell bad.
and Tellarites that they have to keep stinking, smelling.
Oh, they got to smell
Product
way worse
placement
than
in this,
humans.
Oh yeah, they gotta smell bad. Well, anyways, yeah. So
You guys should never invite me on because we never really
she's
follow the script.
We're everywhere. So she's very badly burned, and the doctor says that she can't go back because she has traumatic stress disorder, and she says,
What are you gonna do?
"Is she gonna stop me? I'll just turn your program off." And he's like, "You wouldn't do that."
You could pull a phaser on me, and she's like, "What's that all you're gonna do?" And,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Well, I'm gonna put a formal complaint in your record, and you're gonna get court-martialed." And she's like, "I'll take that." I'm
Yeah.
like, whatever.
If we get home.
If we get home,
We get
Yeah.
home, I'll take that.
She's rolling the dice. It's like, yeah, we're never gonna get home. This is fine.
Right.
They make a deal with a couple of other ships.
Yeah, they kind of like team up.
Which ultimately should have you should have seen all of the people on there, and they all should have been wearing red shirts.
Oh, that'd been
It
great.
was like, we brought you two species in to die.
You're all gonna die.
Yeah, you're going to die.
And
She splits up the crew.
at the same time,
Red Forman's making more changes because Chakotay thinks he's reasoning with him, and Tom Paris is all pissed off that, hey, look, you can't seriously be trying to be friends with this guy, and Chakotay's like, I'm working on it. He'll listen to me, and then he goes and like kills a whole another couple
another
races.
planet just out of nowhere. He's like, I'll just kill these guys. Like, nope, that didn't work.
Chakotay's begging, and he's like, yeah, fire the weapon.
Had visions of Obama and John Boehner. He'll listen to me. No, he'll listen to me. I know he will.
No, he will.
No, he
He'll be
won't.
fine. No, he won't. No, and then so Chakotay's kind of like, yeah, maybe he's not such a good guy.
And Tom Paris has been slowly worming his way through the crew, and he's getting all the inside knowledge. And he says basically he can send a message to Voyager without being detected because the crews gave him that ability. And also he knows how to basically destroy or disable the temporal weapon. So they do send a message. Tom Paris sends a message to the Voyager, let them know where they're at and what they're going to do, the plan. So they mount this attack on the Anorex's Red Forman ship. The attack takes place, and
2 of the ships get destroyed immediately.
Oh, I thought they were going to take out the bridge the way that one ship swipes across the.
Oh yeah, swipes across Voyager. Yeah,
Voyager's bow there.
Just had to kick Voyager's ass a little bit more.
Scrape Janeway off the face.
And
of the
then
planet.
Janeway realizes that she's got a giant window into space,
which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was cool.
And then she just says, "I'm ramming them."
She's like, "Take off your temporal shielding because if I destroy this thing, maybe it'll make things go back to how they were."
Yeah. So she rams.
Right, there was a little Deus Ex Machina at the end.
Well, the whole.
Yeah.
I mean, she rams into the ship and then it explodes and then everything is how it was. So it's like the whole episode's a non sequitur. 2 episodes, 2 brilliant episodes, and it doesn't even matter.
It would have been cool if something came out of it. Yeah, yeah.
It just was like, these are 2 of Voyager's best episodes.
I'll give you that. That it would have been cool if something
like if it would have stuck.
Right.
It's just I just
because nothing stuck right anyway.
No, yeah,
like
yeah.
in every little change there was something that changed that didn't go. So
right. So she crashes into Anorex's ship. All of a
she
sudden,
just had that big flap of skin on her face for the rest of the entire series.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The next 3 years, there's just that.
Yes.
honking
What
flap
happened
of-
to your face?
honking flap of skin
I got venereal disease
on my face,
on my face.
on my cheek.
This is the biggest herpy you've ever seen.
Biggest herpy you've ever seen.
Do you ever see those games on you guys on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like,
I didn't know where you were going to go with
They
that.
herpes with friends now?
get your Star Trek name. It's like right. So
Oh, right,
get your
yeah.
Star Trek name is the first 3 letters of your last name. Mm-hmm. Are you doing this with my name? And the first 2 letters of your first name.
So
Right?
you're a herp.
So I'm herpy. Right? So then I end up with. Then I have to tell somebody about it. I'm like, geez, let me post this status. So for like the
I'm
next
herpy.
11. So the next 11 months, I get like all the Facebook ads are
Yeah.
for like ointments and salves and
Wow.
for your Simplex 1 through 7.
Ay, ay, ay.
Total true story.
That's embarrassing.
That's great.
Just type herpy.
The nice news is that only I can see the ads on my page.
Yeah, but it's funny that you get that. Wow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Voyager gets put back to where it was.
And then they ask the ship just to run through the space, and then they say no, and Voyager's just like, okay, we'll go around. I'm like,
Well, because
you could have said that 2 episodes ago.
they didn't fire.
He asked nicer.
Yeah, he was cool.
He didn't
was-
say,
he's
he
less
didn't
of a
say
dick.
he didn't say don't come through our space. He said this space is under dispute. Maybe you want to sneak around.
Yeah, yeah.
Much nicer. Didn't
was
say
a little bit nicer.
right.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the first episode, he's like, no, go around.
And then at the very end, which is really confusing, they show Red Forman doing calculations, and his wife comes in. But like, is this 200 years ago? Is this now? Like, I don't like. There's no context to that scene. It makes no sense.
Well, because the ship never existed.
True.
Maybe.
Well, the ship was just destroyed. I mean, it shouldn't have just reset everything back to the point where it just would start all over again.
Maybe.
But
I
the
don't-
thing is, like, they had been in the ship for 200 years. So, like, does this race just live a long time? Is this now? Or is this 200 years ago? Because they show his pads, and he's got the calculations on them.
Oh, it doesn't mean it.
So
had-
just like-
I don't know if it had to be necessarily at that moment, but I do feel that it kind of gave you a feeling that he was like saying, "I'll take time out to be, hang out with my wife and connect with her instead of just working."
Yeah.
So, and that's where the show ends.
Aaron said.
Sure, but I mean, like, I understand there's that connect, but
I know, Dave.
but like in the timeline,
Dave.
is this now? Is it
Dave.
is this then? Is it?
Doesn't matter. Just get
It
the.
matters. It matters to the man of the detail.
Yeah, he's stuck on the details.
Tell me why you're doing the things you're doing, please.
please.
I need to
Go back
understand.
to your alley with your top hat.
Yes.
and twisty mustache.
No pants.
Oh boy, that took a turn.
Totally.
Okay, so Pete, since you're a guest, you obviously it's a great episode. But what was your thoughts after watching it? And any feelings, takeaways?
Well, like I said a little bit earlier, that I totally dig the timeline stuff,
Yeah.
and the stuff like that.
Time travel.
Yeah. The other thing for me is, I was saying to Dave earlier that I really liked Voyager as a series. I did.
It can be good.
I'm not sure why. I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the premise. I liked the Voyager itself. I think she's a cool.
It's a cool ship. It's a cool ship.
Yeah, she's a cool looking ship and stuff. In this particular episode, and I think I told you guys last time I was here, my degree's in scenic design for the theater, and I loved watching Voyager get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought visually.
They did a good job with the sets and
Oh,
making
the
it.
insides were amazing.
I
Just
thought
seeing
they
it
were
all
awesome.
gutted.
There was some stuff that was a little bit like the venting the nebula into the inside with the kind of
Plumes.
the plumes of purple smoke.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and I'm watching and I'm like, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
You know? And so there was some hokey stuff. But one of the reasons I think that I started to like Voyager more than some of the earlier stuff is that things just got better. Like I like new Star Wars better than old Star Wars because production values got better, you know, and the production values were much better, I think, in Voyager than they were in, you know, obviously in the
especially
series or even TNG. You know?
Yeah, if you take TNG, because that's kind of when they got restarted doing it, they ramped up slowly and they got better and better. And, you know, after Deep Space Nine, Voyager was a well-tuned machine on how to take care of all those things.
You know, and one of the things that I was thinking about in the whole thing is, geez, whatever happened to Rick Berman, you know? I didn't realize he was as old as he is. He's like 70 now. And he just kind of, it was, after Enterprise was done, he was done. You know, he was the keeper of the Star Trek kingdom for quite some time.
Yeah, Gene passed it down to him.
Yeah, and it was just time for him to be done with it. And I think he did. Tell me if you guys agree with this. Like, we have this argument on the Geekiverse all the time, big screen versus small screen. I think that Berman was much better on a small screen than he was on a big screen.
Oh, most definitely, because I mean, his Star Trek Next Gen movies ran Star Trek into the ground. It's what killed Star Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, you had 4 Next Gen movies, and you struck out on 3 of them. I mean, like, I'm not a huge fan of how Rick Berman handled the movies.
Right. And I just think that it's, you know, it's a totally different medium.
Sure.
I had an argument with one of the guys today about, you know, like what's going on with DC, the sort of unraveling of the DC movie universe. And I'm a DC TV guy. Love it.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, Grant Gustin's not a good Flash. And I'm like,
DC should have used their TV series as their groundwork for the movies,
right?
Because their movies are an utter train wreck with all the bad news and bad press that's been going on.
I thought way back in the early 2000s when Smallville came out, they should have just put that kid, I forgot his name, made him Superman, because the end of the Smallville was basically
him becoming Superman.
Him becoming officially Superman. I mean, they show him flying around with a cape and everything, and I thought, like, you have a whole fan base already set up. I mean, people were crazy for Smallville at that time. Just, you know, do one movie with him as Superman. See what happens. You know, it's like everyone identified him as Superman.
well, and, you know, one of the things that's nice about the Star Trek universe as a whole is that, you know, right up until Chris Pine and the J.J. Abrams stuff, you had the same character. You had continuity.
Right.
There is no property that's done continuity better than Star Trek.
No, I mean, they've definitely kept
even
it through.
Even to the point where
50, I mean, more or less 50 years of the same continuity. It's amazing.
Continuity except for
700 something episodes, except for 3 movies.
Yeah.
And probably Discovery.
And probably Discovery.
Yeah. Right.
Although Discovery's really supposed to be in the same.
Yeah, but
It's in the prime timeline. I'm
Right.
using air quotes because this is I'm telling you about the air quotes.
Yeah.
Because you can't see me, but Yeah, it's
You should see him though. He does air quotes better than anybody.
crushing these air quotes.
I've never
crushing-
seen it. Have you ever
he's
seen
crushing
anybody
it.
do air quotes better?
Not as angry as Dave does.
That's my thing. Like I think the DC's in a little bit of trouble because we're on our fourth Batman now or fifth, maybe more. Right? There was.
Well, was it rumors that Affleck doesn't want to do it anymore?
That's what started my whole DC's unwinding thing. Is he was going to direct it, and now he's not. Now he doesn't even want to be in it.
Well, and there's been 3 writers for the Flash, and they can't do it. They can't even keep a writer on. I just don't understand how that's such a train wreck.
So that's one of the things that's for me. It's great about the whole Star Trek universe.
And as much as I rag on Voyager, and you give me a hard time for ragging on Voyager, Voyager's still better than half of what's on television nowadays.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, as
And
much
I
as
just want to be clear that if I wasn't ragging on you for that, I'd find something else.
Sure, no, but I mean, I just want the listeners to know too. As much as I rag on Voyager, it's to me the worst Star Trek gets, but the worst Star Trek gets is still so much better than so much else that's on television even now, and in the past too. So I mean,
Although
it's a good show.
I've been getting into the sci-fi show, The Expanse.
Yeah, I'm a couple episodes behind, but
Pretty
I
good.
watched all last season, and I just started this season.
Pretty good.
So, yeah,
I've been watching. I haven't seen The Expanse. I've been watching Dark Matter. It's more it's sort of Firefly-ish to me.
I probably catch it soon.
on my list. That's going to be a summer list. One of the things that I really like about The Expanse is they answer questions that Star Trek never answered,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
like gravity in space.
Gravity's a big thing for
You
them.
know,
Yeah.
in Star Trek, it's just there. You know what I mean? They have their anti-gravity, and it's just there, and you walk around the ship like nothing. Well, these ships in The Expanse are...
Yeah, they don't.
You got to wear your
If they don't have their gravity boots on,
yeah,
you're
right.
floating.
You're floating. You know, so it's cool. And again, The Expanse wouldn't have worked 15 years ago.
No, they couldn't
You
do
know,
it.
it's the filmmaking technology
Oh, yeah.
nowadays that allows for that show to be good.
I mean,
I'm loving The Magicians. Are you watching any of that?
No, I haven't.
Fantastic.
The thing is that I think the biggest thing that has held the Star Trek universe down, if anything, because it has been a TV show, is limited budget. I mean, when we got into the movies, you could do bigger things, but unfortunately, you're still
Even the movies were lower budget by
movie standards.
By movie standards.
Certainly by today's standards.
Yeah.
Well, even by then standards. I mean, the motion picture was, I think, the biggest budget of them all, and it was literally a 1970s effects film. I mean, they had so many different models and sets, and the models looked amazing. I mean, sometimes they had some problems doing the forced perspective right, where they looked like models, really badly looked like models. But even though they looked like models, they were intricate and they looked amazing. Like it's
I don't know
weird
if I
and
can say
surreal.
this out loud here, but there's not really a Star Trek movie pre J.J. Abrams that I'm in love with.
Really?
Yeah.
So you like the
I
JJ
love Star Trek 6 and Star Trek 2.
Star Trek 2 and 6 are, I think,
The best.
the gold standard.
I thought 6 was the best until Beyond came out. Beyond.
Is 4 the one with the whales?
Yes.
That was my wife and I first date.
Oh, wow.
She married me anyway.
Did you see the whales? Star Trek 4 was the most accessible Star Trek movie to non-Star Trek fans because
totally
it was.
loved it.
I loved it too.
But I, none of them. There's none of them that have to be in my. You know what I mean? Like in my,
You have to watch.
Yeah, there's no. If it's on and nothing else is on, but I much prefer the small screen Star Trek to big screen until J.J. Abrams stuff.
Interesting.
It just depends on the movie. I mean, I love half of them and I don't like half of them. So I mean,
2 was which one?
Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
6 is Undiscovered Country, which is
Undiscovered
amazing.
Country, really good movie for so many reasons.
Save the Whales is good too. I mean, it's the Star Trek buddy comedy movie of the year.
All the ones with the
nuclear vessels.
yeah,
Nuclear Vessels.
Nuclear vessels. Why do you keep them?
all the actually almost all the original series cast movies I pretty much like. Even motion picture for a lot of stupid reasons on my end. I like. It's not a great movie. I'm not gonna. I wouldn't make anybody watch it.
And don't get me wrong, I like them.
Yeah.
I like them all. But there's so many movies that are
Oh, yeah.
for a Trekkie like me, that's painful to say. that I don't love their big screen stuff.
Dave, Year of Hell.
I love this episode. Like, ever since like the second week we started this podcast, I was like, we should do a Voyager episode. Oh, we should do Year of Hell. I'm like I am so hard on Voyager. I don't want to do Year of Hell right off the beginning of the gate because then it's just going to be downhill. Because like to me, these are probably the favorite. Up there as sort of. I mean, like top 5 Voyager if you count it as one episode. It's easily in the top 5 for Voyager.
Is this episode 101?
There's 102.
102. There was another one between.
Yeah. We did Tribunal for Deep Space Nine for 101 was where Miles O'Brien gets taken to court,
stripped naked, Giggity, and then his tooth gets taken out, and they give him some S&M gear.
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine is another one that I'm going to jump into because I didn't really watch it.
Talk to Dave. Dave will give you the full list of what to watch because there's a lot of Deep Space Nine you can avoid.
I didn't really like it, and then I stopped watching.
There's a list that basically you skip most of the first season and.
Deep Space Nine was a weird place for me when it first came out because right at the time Deep Space Nine was coming out, Babylon 5 was out.
Yeah.
And it was so weird. Now, of course, I knew the difference between the two.
The sad thing is, like, even though they came out at the same time, like, Babylon 5 aged way worse.
Oh, yeah.
Way worse.
Yeah, I know it did. But the thing is that I would watch it, but Babylon 5 had some, like, interesting concepts behind it. And I found myself intrigued, and I was maybe feeling a little burned out from Next Generation.
The Vorlons were super cool. The Shadow were super cool.
Yeah.
And then after the Shadow War, it just was like it fell apart from.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of good. But anyways, that all being said, it was like I kind of fell off on Deep Space Nine because I into like the second season. I was like, I just don't know if I'm into this.
The first 3 seasons are really hard on Deep Space Nine, and once you've seen all of Deep Space Nine. All the way through the first couple seasons, like, and you can remember most of it. The first 2 seasons get less painful on repeat watches because you kind of understand.
You understand where
everything fits in because there's so many episodes in the first 2 seasons that some of them don't even really feature the Federation characters prominently. There's just like guest characters that come on and like the episode's all about them. Like, why is that important? And some of them aren't, but some of them there's really slow character building.
I liked. I'm not going to remember the character's name, but I love the shapeshifter guy.
Odo.
And he's such a great actor.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's great. And
like the first 2 seasons, like the only thing that really keeps me holding on is the Odo Quark relationship, the good cop and then the robber type situation between those two on the station.
Did we ever see Ferengi before Deep Space Nine?
Yeah.
They were in season 1 of TNG.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of the Ferengi characters. They're great fun.
Oh, Dave, so you and Dave should get married.
You keep saying that.
I know.
It's creepy.
I almost feel some jealousy coming from you.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at us and you're like, all those hours I wasted watching The Simpsons.
Yes.
You know what I'll do? I'll make fun of Pete and Dave because they didn't waste all that time.
I just feel sorry for you two. Feel sorry.
The one Simpsons, it wasn't really The Simpsons. I watched the Family Guy crossover with The Simpsons, so it was sort of The Simpsons, but it was
a crossover.
Yeah. But it was technically on the Family Guy slot. So
again, for me, for Year of Hell, I loved Red Forman's character. I think I love a sympathetic villain. There's nothing better than sympathetic. I mean, like, of course, I don't agree with what he was doing, but I just love to
understanding why.
Yes. Instead of just some guy just coming in just like killing people for no reason, like just like why? What like what's the point? Like it's like when you see American Psycho with Christian Bale, you're like, why is he such a freaking crazy person? Like what is it? What made him that way? Like you never know.
Just because it's Christian Bale.
And then he became Batman.
Right.
I can use my rage for just constructively, but not. This is kind of in regard to what you're saying. A sympathetic villain. If Marvel has any like huge flaw in their movies, and they've been usually pretty good, is that their villains are just one-dimensional. There's no
just bad guy.
They're just a bad guy. There's no setup. There's no sympathy in that for all.
No, I agree.
That would be because you're trying to jam
so much
seasons of comic books into a 2.5-hour movie.
But that being said, I mean, you see a lot of interesting. I mean, like William Dafoe in Spider-Man. I'm not going to say I loved his character as a Goblin the Green Goblin, but it was interesting. I got into it a little bit.
Yeah, no,
Sure, I mean, but he was better developed than any of the phase starting with Iron Man. Like, none of the bad guys have been that developed.
Oh, yeah, the Iron Man villains have been like with Jeff Bridges.
Well, I mean, like, starting with Iron Man,
terrible.
all the Marvel movies, starting with Iron Man to now, like, none of the bad guys have had anything but just one-dimensional.
Yeah, they're
bad
just kind of
people.
just like, we're just bad guys. Yeah, you don't get it. There's no reason.
I'm trying to think of a.
There isn't one. Not a really decent bad guy.
I mean,
like I said, Magneto.
Iron Man 2. He's not my bird.
Yeah, but it wasn't
Mickey
like
Rourke.
he's not
Mickey.
that developed.
It's interesting, but then he just disappears. And the other guy is
Guy
I can't.
Guy Pearce, but
I can't picture. Yeah, Guy Pearce,
Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer. Yeah,
What's the guy's name?
I forgot the actor's name, but
Yeah,
yeah,
me too.
But he's
He was great fun.
He's great fun, but you're not really interested in him as a villain. And
he's comic relief. He shouldn't be a villain.
He was totally comic relief in that movie.
Yeah.
And the bad part of Iron Man 2 was Rourke's character kind of just like goes away, like not even through. He should have like stayed.
And then like I was always confused. Like, did he lose his legs or not? Did he get like robot legs? Like, so in the jail cell, it looks like he's like missing his legs, sort of. I'm like,
I don't know.
Did he lose his legs in the car
I
accident?
just kind of wish they would have like done a little more with him,
and
because he was a cool villain.
that's one of the things that I think Star Trek does well, though. I mean, I think that there is good villains.
Oh yeah,
You know?
yeah. I think for the most part, most of the villains are at least pretty cool for some ways. I mean, the Klingons get a little two-dimensional, of course, because they're just like, we're just here to,
Smack heads and drink blood wine.
yeah, pretty much. There's no real. It's just their culture. That's what
Sounds
they're.
like an episode of the Syntholics.
Yeah,
Smacking heads and drinking blood wine.
that's right. But yeah. So
You.
But yeah, I do enjoy a sympathetic villain, and I love Voyager getting all smashed up. I love Janeway; she is hot. She's hot.
And I totally agree with you on, like, it would have been cooler to watch Voyager limp home.
Yeah,
Yeah, like with all the
Then
scuffles.
come in
they
looking
get.
like it just ran through Delta Sonic before it went to a wedding.
Yeah, I mean, it just would have, for continuity, it's been great. Like, maybe they lose both their nacelles and they've got like two mismatched alien nacelles. Like, just like the ship should have been like a patchwork of all these different
Yeah.
things they found.
And that would have been totally cool, quite
It would have been
frankly.
great seeing the ship change, or like even between seasons, the ship just get totally changed in
Right.
between seasons because time is elapsed. Or
Holding
just,
it together with bubble gum and paper clips would have been
Yeah.
a cool long-term story arc over the whole thing. And that's one of the things that I like
Yeah.
about a lot of what's going on now is that there's a long game in everything. You know what I mean? There's a season-long arc in everything, and then there's a week-to-week arc. And
I'm excited to see how that's going to pan out with Star Trek Discovery being a 13-episode arc.
well, and it's basically a new format. Is not episodic. It's serialized. It's like
Yeah.
if this happens, then this, then this. So that's
Right,
the great
but-
thing with TV nowadays.
But it's still, you got the long term, but if it's done well, you got
Oh yeah, yeah. You could have
weekly episodes,
right.
with little bits and pieces of the
Yeah.
of the big arc in it. too,
Right,
so.
right.
Yeah.
No, it's great stuff. I really did enjoy it quite a bit. It was it's a fun two-parter. And I don't hate Voyager. I like when Voyager has a great story, but a lot of times their stories could be really just like, you're like, what's that? What is that?
See a couple episodes ago for Threshold.
Yeah, Threshold's terrible.
Episode 99, actually, approaching. That's the closest we've done Voyagers back-to-back, I think, like 3 episodes apart.
We got a lot of Voyager to go through.
We've skipped it a lot, so yeah.
Yeah.
Just because Dave hates it.
Prepare to hear me rant.
Pretty much. We should do Eye of a Needle. That's a good one. The one I mentioned before. Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
There's another good one where
You guys are like the Rain Men when it comes to, like I can drop a whole bunch of episodes on the ground and you'll tell me what their names are and what their.
I'm more of like the mentally slow Star Trek fan.
the Tom Cruise of the Rain Man.
Worse.
Yeah, I mean,
His brother who didn't graduate high school.
I can't even do it. I can't even do it. You guys
Show
are like,
me
what about
the
this
money.
episode? What about this movie? When you rattle off movie numbers instead of names, I'm like, I have no idea what you're even talking about.
Well,
I don't even know why you invite me here.
we kind of
Because you got too much bloodwine. And
We
got the chair too to duct tape you to. So that's coming up.
No.
we have you here because we love the Geekiverse and you're the most Star Trek representative of them. So
yeah, good recovery, David.
But we do have the chair with the
scene cut out.
Stop even. I won't even sleep tonight thinking about that scene.
I just love that Daniel Craig's like, ooh.
Won't even sleep tonight. That's probably why he gave up on that. He's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
No,
why?
but
because you busted my nuts.
You bust my nuts.
But that was the first movie. He didn't want to give up to it to the third movie.
He doesn't sleep anymore either.
He just watches that scene over and over again. It's like, I'm never going to sleep again.
That last one he did was pretty good.
I didn't see it.
I liked them all.
Yeah.
He's my favorite Bond.
Yeah, I don't know if he's my favorite, but he's really good. Here, I really like him a lot.
He's my favorite Bond. It's one of the series. This is the thing that Star Trek.
I'm more of a Timothy Dalton kind of guy.
Star Trek didn't get all gritty.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's about to.
A lot of the
It's about to get ready with Discovery.
I think Discovery's going to be gritty.
Maybe.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
That's the thing right now.
Oh yeah, no, that's where the trend is.
Right.
Well,
That's the thing.
and they did
rolling up your pants and gritty everything. Those are the trends right now.
And they did do that production behind the scenes thing where they say Star Trek is ...
Gritty.
Star Trek is now gritty.
Gritty kitty.
So yeah, Year of Hell Part 2. Our Year of Hell, our personal stories. I know it took a little bit for us to actually get into the Star Trek on this episode, but hope it was worth it.
Yeah,
for everyone listening. I hope you enjoyed it.
Hope you go back and rewatch it.
I enjoyed it.
And if you have not seen Year of Hell, Voyager, please put it on. You will enjoy it.
Even if you're not a Voyager fan, these are 2 episodes that are just fantastic and they just work.
They're very good. And like Dave said, it's non sequitur. It doesn't have any impact.
It has zero impact to the entire thing, which is the most disappointing thing about it is that these are 2 amazing episodes, and that it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But they're still good, so you should watch them because they are excellent.
Oh, absolutely.
Well-crafted television.
I loved it. Good stuff.
Any other closing remarks?
Get ready for the chair, Pete.
I'm never coming here again.
I'll have your balls. You'll have to come back.
Never coming again. No, thanks for having me. As always, it's great fun to sit with you guys and talk about something that I do love a lot.
Yeah. So do we.
We love Star Trek. We love talking. We love having people over to talk with because it's always fun talking with each other, but it's always fun also getting someone else's opinion and ideas and thoughts into it. It shakes things up for us, so I enjoy that.
Yeah.
Well, that was my job.
Exactly.
To point out your darkener of doorsteps.
Darkener of doorsteps.
That's Dave, Dave Duncan, the darkener of doorsteps.
Lots of D's.
Lots of D's. I'm a teacher. I love alliteration.
Well, my dad taught a logic class for homeschoolers when I was in Jackson, Mississippi, and I was in the class, and I loved trying to fit door stops into like any kind of logical, just in the exercises. I was trying to figure out ways to insert door stop. I don't know why I was obsessed with door stops.
You mean the physical door stops?
Yes, I was trying to fit them into the exercises,
the logic exercise.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I can't think of a better way to end this.
Just speaking of door things. Well, all our music is provided by Warp 11. You can find them at warp11.com or Warp 11 on Twitter. Again, you can find us online at Synthaholic Duo on Twitter. Join the Facebook conversation at facebook.com/groups.
It's always a party.
Lots of fun stuff.
Facebook Live.
Someday.
One day. We talked about it a year ago. We kind of forgot about it.
Sucked a year ago.
We got to start. We got
to mainstream.
Yeah, but we got to kind of get the equipment for that set up and all that bullshit. We'll do it.
I was just on another audio podcast, and they did it with their phones. And their whole podcast, their whole business model was phones. It was kind of cool.
I just wonder what the quality would be like.
I don't know.
We can give it a try and see what happens.
We should test it.
Right now, we'll sit on each other's lap.
I'm not sitting on your laps.
I'm taking my pants off.
My contract did not call for some of the crap you got. You
didn't read the fine line.
Blood wine. You're not telling me to sit on your lap. That ain't happening.
apparently
How
misconstrued.
we all gonna get in the same frame with a cell phone if we don't sit on each other's laps?
That's right.
Come on.
Over in the corner or something.
What if it falls over?
You got me there.
I had a job once.
Rate us on iTunes. You can give us stars and ratings. Please help us out on the show that way as well.
Your reviews will help us get noticed on iTunes and their algorithms of what gets news and notable.
News and noteworthy. So we want to be that once more. We were for a little bit.
Way back when.
For like a week, and then it went away. We want to be back. We want to be there again. So please rate us and review us. If writing reviews and giving stars isn't your thing, we do have a Patreon. We have so you can join us at patreon.com/synthaholics. If you want to donate, we've got some bonus episodes, some other bonus content. And if you want to suggest bonus content, please write us at synthaholics@yahoo.com. Or if you have any comments about this episode and using chairs to hurt people's balls, you can also email us at synthaholics@yahoo.com.
Yeah. Also, let your friends and family know about Synthaholics. Let your grandmother know if she enjoys to listen to offbeat, grotesque humor. Let her know. She'll love it.
Yes, honey.
My grandmother will not be listening to you.
I listen to this Synthaholics filth, and I love it.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. Live long and prosper, one and all.
In the sink and we'll cry till we laugh, and we'll both shit our pants. You're the best drinking friend I ever had.
None of us know what our night's gonna look like.
What does it entail?
I'm less sure.
A bloodwine binger.
Oh, prostitutes and fish hooks.
That's a lot of blood wine. You saw the thing I was throwing
I
into
am
it.
sure that my night's not going to be that.
The world may never know.
How many licks does it take to center of a Tootsie Pop?
I don't know. If you're a turtle, you just bite through it.
Yeah, that's right. Sure. We're not going to do our
Decapitagan's taxes.
the taxes. You must pay the taxes.
In Soviet run, capital gains you.
The last episode was pretty good. I listened to it. The echo thing was a little weird at the end.
It was actually a lot quieter than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. He discovered he has a echo.
The cat discovered.
Reverb on his board.
It's so greedy.
We're trying to get you, Barbara. Living dead for a long time. We're beneath the air. That's
Night of Living Dead.